The future founders of Instagram, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, met each other at Stanford University in the late 2000s. Both of these men were interested in developing their own app, but they were too busy in their professional lives to focus on that yet. Systrom's first idea, by himself, was an app that allows people to check in to various places and share those places with their friends. It was something very similar to Facebook's check-in feature. Along with checking in, users would be able to post pictures of their locations on the app, which would set it apart from similar apps. He decided to go with the name Bourbon initially. Kevin Systrom started working on the app, but he didn't really have any money to launch it. But soon enough, Systrom would attend a party for a startup in Silicon Valley, and there he would meet two venture capitalists from Baseline Ventures and Andreessen Horowitz. Systrom saw the opportunity, and he took it by showing the two venture capitalists his prototype. They both loved the idea, and after a few days, they decided to put $500,000 into the app. This allowed Systrom to quit his job and focus on developing Bourbon full-time. Very quickly, Systrom contacted Mike Krieger and offered him a top position at Bourbon, which Mike gladly accepted. After the inclusion of Mike, the two started to reassess the whole idea behind Bourbon. Even though Systrom initially wanted an app that was primarily centered around checking in, Krieger wanted to focus more on the photo sharing aspect, since that was the only thing that made the app stand out. Around the same time, an app called Hipstamatic started to get very popular. It was an app where users could take photos from their phones and apply all kinds of different filters to make them look a bit more professional. But Hipstamatic was just a photo editing app. It didn't have any social capabilities. That's why Mike and Kevin decided to try to balance the worlds between Hipstamatic and social media for their app, with a heavy emphasis on photo sharing. So, they took away most of Bourbon's features while keeping some of the main ones, such as posting photos, liking, and commenting. They also added an in-app editing suite that people could use before they posted their photos. Additionally, they decided to rename the app to something that would be a bit more catchy, so they combined the words instant and telegram and came up with Instagram. Over the course of the next few months, Mike and Kevin were hard at work trying to develop Instagram, and on July the 16th, 2010, Mike officially posted the first Instagram photo ever. It was a picture of the South Beach Harbor in San Francisco. A few days later, Kevin also posted his first Instagram picture, and it was of his dog. The goal of the app was pretty simple. It would be a place where people could share photos without having to go through a million different ads and unrelated content. It would be minimal and free of clutter. Mike and Kevin spent the next few months sorting out some bugs, and on October the 6th, 2010, the app was officially launched on the Apple App Store. It was released around the same time as the iPhone 4, which featured Apple's first phone camera that was capable of taking high-definition pictures and videos. It was also Apple's first phone with a front-facing camera, and it sort of caused a boom in cell phone photography. So really, the launch couldn't have happened at a more perfect time, and since there wasn't as much competition in the App Store at the time, it was an instant success. Over 25,000 people downloaded the app on its first day. Surprisingly, there were very few bugs, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. The great thing for Instagram was the fact that in order to truly enjoy Instagram, you needed your friends to have it as well. So whenever people would download the app, they would ask all of their friends to do the same, and it led to some massive word-of-mouth popularity. By the end of the year, it had reached 1 million downloads, which allowed Instagram to raise over $7 million in Series A funding in February of 2011. Around this time, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, offered to buy Instagram for a sum of $500 million. But Kevin rejected that offer. Instead, Instagram continued to invest more and more money into rapidly growing the app's user base, while keeping the main team relatively small. The growth was pretty rapid. It had 5 million active users by the end of June 2011, and by September, that number had already doubled. That same month, Instagram released an update that allowed users to finally post high-resolution images, cementing it as a favorite for amateur photographers to showcase their work. In April of 2012, Instagram finally launched on Android, getting 1 million downloads within a day of it being launched. Just 2 days after that, Instagram raised $50 million in funding, valuing it at $500 million. But just as April couldn't get interesting enough for Instagram, on April the 9th, 2012, just a few days after funding, Facebook officially acquired Instagram for a sum of $1 billion. By the end of April, Instagram had over 50 million active users, and it was the fastest growing social media platform in the world at the time. However, just a month later, Instagram would see its first major competitor arrive, Vine, an app launched by Twitter, which allowed its users to share short videos. Vine was a viral sensation, and its growth far outpaced that of Instagram. But still, Instagram continued to grow, and just a few months later, Instagram released its video feature, and that would finally give it the edge over Vine. As time passed, Instagram kept adding more and more features, but there was one problem. It was burning through cash. Turns out, making an app as free of clutter as possible wasn't really the best way to make money. But now that Instagram was under Facebook's thumb, the minimalist concept was abandoned in favor of profit. That's why in November of 2013, Instagram finally launched sponsored posts, which allowed advertisers to appear to users' feeds. This allowed Instagram to become an extremely profitable entity, while Vine continued to struggle to make money, and eventually in 2017, Vine would be shut down. During the same time, Instagram was thriving. It had reached 600 million active users by the time Vine had shut down. And even though it was starting to face competition from Snapchat, it still managed to survive because of advertising. However, many people believe that Instagram no longer has the same appeal that it did in the early days. The entire platform exists mainly to sell you products now. There is a lot of clutter, advertisements, and many other things that the founders of Instagram wanted to avoid. On top of that, Instagram now has another competitor, TikTok. But the rivalry between TikTok and Instagram is the material for another whole video. For now, thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out also our other videos.